But we begin with a story that has dominated the headlines. The FBI announced on Thursday that two major operations, one involving the sharing of insider information for betting on NBA games, and the other centering on rigged poker games using high-tech cheating devices, have led to the arrest of more than 30 suspects.
LeBron James has been arrested. FBI agents reportedly stormed his mansions in both Los Angeles and Ohio, and officials are saying this case has nothing to do with basketball anymore.
Sources told the Post that Jones sent a message to one of the betting ring members on February 9, 2023, urging him to place a large bet on the Lakers' opponent, the Milwaukee Bucks, because James would be out within.
The investigation dominating every headline right now is called Operation Nothing But Bet, and it's shaking the entire sports world to its core. What began as a quiet probe into insider betting within the NBA has exploded into one of the wildest scandals ever linked to a superstar player. For months, agents have been tracking money trails, secret messages, and even leaked medical reports. And every single thread seems to lead back to one man who many believed was untouchable.
The first indictment involves 6 defendants. This scheme is an insider sports betting conspiracy that exploited confidential information about National Basketball Association athletes and teams.
The first major twist hit when LeBron's longtime friend and ex-teammate Damon Jones got slapped with an indictment. According to court documents unsealed this spring, Jones was allegedly caught selling confidential injury info before key Lakers games, like the February 9th, 2023 matchup against the Milwaukee Bucks and another one versus the Oklahoma City Thunder in January 2024. In one shocking text revealed by prosecutors, Jones told a contact, "Get a big bet on Milwaukee tonight before the info is out." Hours later, LeBron mysteriously sat out that game with an ankle injury, and the Bucks walked away with the win. Everyone thought the case ended with Jones until federal agents started showing up at LeBron's own doors. Sources close to the investigation say the FBI didn't stop at Jones, and what they found next could change everything. Agents pushed deeper into LeBron's inner circle, with reports saying they seized phones, laptops, and financial records from his LA mansion and his Ohio estate. But none of this has been proven in court yet. Insiders claim the warrants mention possible ties between Damon Jones's alleged gambling crew and a prominent player's money network, though details remain sealed and disputed. That prominent player, people keep whispering, is LeBron James, but officials have not filed charges against him, and that matters big time. Even so, the move to take documents has fans and execs buzzing that he might be more than a routine witness, though that's still speculation and not a legal fact. The FBI's public stance is that LeBron is cooperating, but some sources paint a messier picture, saying agents are combing through encrypted chats and offshore transfers linked to folks who once rolled with his entourage. Again, none of this is confirmed in court records. One source even says James's name shows up multiple times in internal memos, but without full context, it's impossible to know what that really means. League chatter is getting loud, with rumors that LeBron could appear as a key name in a future filing, while others caution that speculation is running ahead of evidence. Meanwhile, people close to the timeline say Damon Jones's moves in the months before his arrest looked shaky, including witness chatter from the ARAA resort in Las Vegas.
Individuals such as Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry Rozier were taken into custody today, former current NBA players and coaches. What you don't know is that this is an illegal gambling operation and sports rigging operation that spanned the course of years. The FBI led a coordinated takedown across 11 states to arrest over 30 individuals today responsible.
Though the credibility of those accounts still needs real verification before anyone jumps to conclusions. Witnesses say Damon Jones was living like cash had no ceiling, posted up in the high-limit room for marathon nights, puffing $200 cigars and name-dropping LeBron to anyone within earshot. Professional gambler Michael Osborne told investigators that Jones used LeBron's name as a business card, bragging he could tap team trainers and get early injury info before it hit the public, which, if true, would be explosive. That smooth talk allegedly came with real pressure too, as Jones was said to be asking other gamblers for quick loans just to keep his stack alive at the tables. Classic charm mixed with desperation. According to people who saw him working the room, sports betting and illegal gambling kept crossing paths in the rumors, and that overlap is exactly what drew the feds in deeper. Here's the tension the league is wrestling with. The NBA stance is that LeBron had no knowledge of Jones's betting activity, with league sources telling outlets like The Athletic that James was unaware of misconduct and that his bond with Jones was personal, not business. Yet the FBI kept widening the search anyway.
You have more breaking news this morning. Two big names in the NBA among more than 30 people arrested in connection with federal investigation into sports betting and illegal gambling.
As that scope grew, agents reportedly shifted from only tracking Jones's tip-offs to reviewing communication between Jones and LeBron, which raised the stakes in a big way. According to one agent familiar with the case, a fresh name surfaced on a warrant, LeBron James, and that's when the chatter hit a new level, even as no direct wagering by LeBron has been shown. People are asking the obvious. Why seize files from LeBron's properties if he's only a witness, especially when the warrants reportedly referenced coordination of privileged information? Language prosecutors usually reserve for alleged conspirators, not bystanders. Insiders claim the proximity between the two men, plus the timing of certain cash withdrawals and private flights, set off federal suspicion, though none of that has been proven in court and could still be explained by legit business or personal travel, depending on what the sealed context reveals next. The timeline keeps squeezing tighter and the dates look wild on paper.
Not only did we crack into the fraud that these perpetrators committed on the grand stage of the NBA, but we also entered and executed a system of justice against La Casa Nostra to include the Bonanno, Gambino, Genovese, and
That February 9th, 2023 Bucks game wasn't just any night. It came 2 days after LeBron passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the all-time scoring record, and then he sat the next game citing soreness per court papers. That's the same matchup Damon Jones allegedly used to juice an illegal betting tip, which is exactly why the feds took a closer look. Once agents lined up Jones's message with that date, it looked like coordination. Whether that was intentional or not is the big question right now. Then fast forward to January 2024, when Jones allegedly sold another insider nugget before the Thunder game and pocketed $2,500 via mobile payment, with his link to LeBron used as the conversation starter yet again. You can't ignore how that plays with optics. Even if none of it has been proven against LeBron in court, investigators started treating the pattern like a breadcrumb trail: dates, messages, and movement. And that's where the pressure started to build. This is all hitting while the NBA faces a bigger integrity storm around betting and information leaks, which makes every rumor feel louder than it might actually be. Some viral posts even tossed out big names, including coaches and players, but there's no official record confirming those charges. So handle that chatter carefully and don't treat it as fact. The spotlight snapped to LeBron after clips of FBI vehicles outside his Brentwood mansion blew up online, sending speculation into overdrive overnight. Some voices say it's all a Jones issue and LeBron's name is just getting dragged by proximity, while a few legal commentators argue that agents don't pull warrants on a witness without suspecting more, which is still opinion, not a ruling.
Interestingly, we haven't seen the indictments yet. There's been some time lag. I suppose it will take some time to go through all the forensic, evidence.
In the days after the raids, LeBron's camp kept it tight, putting out only a brief line through a rep saying they're fully cooperating. No extra smoke, no extra quotes, just "we're working with investigators," and nothing more for now. In legal circles, that kind of phrasing usually signals negotiations in motion, not a clean bill of health, and that alone has people reading between the lines hard. A source close to the situation says agents carried out multiple devices, including encrypted tablets, believed to belong to team associates, though none of this has been proven in court yet. Leaks whisper that the data could include scheduling notes and travel logs going back to late 2022, the same window when Jones allegedly started hovering around the Lakers, but the actual contents remain sealed tight. From there, things slide into a hazy zone where rumor and receipts start to blur, and that's where the stakes jump. Several insiders claim the betting probe was only layer one, with prosecutors reportedly mapping communication patterns between Jones and a second circle of entertainment figures, though identities and roles are still not confirmed publicly. Some of those names, people say, already popped up in another federal matter, which is why investigators supposedly revisited LeBron's wider network, friends, collaborators, and business touchpoints beyond basketball, all to see if any lines crossed in ways that raise red flags, though nothing has been ruled in or out officially.
That he has, with others, and just because no one else has been charged, which normally in a RICO case you would have others charged, it was a statute that designed to get mob bosses, trying to get at criminal behavior that's like a web of criminal behavior that you can't necessarily prove, like the one thing or the statute of limitations expired on the other thing, but you're just showing this bad guy who's operating what's clearly an enterprise that over and over engages in criminal problems or criminal acts.
Asked why agents would circle back, one legal analyst pointed out that Operation Nothing But Bet isn't just about wagers. It's about potential money flows across industries, which can include entertainment deals, sponsorships, foundations, and event promos, spots where transfers can look clean until they don't. If any account traffic overlapped with Jones or his associates, the fallout could be serious, but that's still a big if until filings spell it out. Publicly, LeBron has kept the image steady. Just weeks before the raids, he was courtside in LA in a bright floral cardigan, locked in and cheering, the same cool presence fans expect to see, optics on point. Behind the curtain, though, people close to him describe heavy pressure and careful moves, which lines up with the gravity of a federal spotlight, even if cooperation is the official word. He has reportedly trimmed media stops and tightened travel, while league chatter says the Lakers are waiting for clear guidance before speaking. No hot takes, just caution, while one of basketball's biggest icons sits in the center of a storm that's still unfolding and still disputed.
Same kind of extortion that we heard when Cassie took the stand and testified on that airplane ride back from France. Diddy said, "You don't do a freak off, I'm going to release one of the freak off videos that you are profiled in and humiliate."
As people demand receipts on bets, cash trails, and hush message chains, investigators say they've locked on to something even riskier: LeBron's private links to a man already serving time for organizing those notorious freak-off gatherings. And the vibe just got darker fast. That's the fork in the road where this probe stops being only about wagers and starts tracking who knows who behind velvet ropes, closed doors, and curated guest lists. And that's exactly where the story keeps unfolding with real heat. When the FBI searched LeBron's properties, sources say the raids weren't just about gambling. Agents were mapping social ties, and that path allegedly pointed straight to Sean Diddy Combs, flipping the script from box scores to nightlife, finance, celebrity events, and private RSVPs in one swoop. What looked like routine follow-up on betting records suddenly overlapped with entertainment money, brand deals, and hush-only parties, which is why the cross-traffic between sports and showbiz drew a sharper eye, even if the final picture isn't clear yet.
Talked for a while, a lot of people are buzzing that Diddy's former BFFs are real quiet.
And they have been.
And people were wondering why and who's the next to fall. And then Jay-Z comes out, and then LeBron James says, "I'm stepping away for excused personal reasons," and people are going, oh, what is going?
Diddy, recently sentenced to more than 4 years after convictions tied to illicit activity and transportation for immoral purposes, was already watching his empire crack in public, and now one of sports' biggest names had reportedly brushed the same orbit, turning whispers into headlines instantly. Almost overnight, an old clip started circulating again. LeBron on Instagram Live next to Diddy saying, "Ain't no party like a Diddy party." Harmless banter back then, but now the internet is scrubbing frames, reading faces, and debating whether that line hints at deeper familiarity or just casual hype. Important note, LeBron has not been accused of any intimate or criminal conduct, and that matters a lot. Full stop. Insiders claim his name surfaced in conversations about potential attendee lists tied to those now infamous freak-off gatherings, events once sold as over-the-top entertainment, which are now under federal testimony describing manipulation and exploitation within Diddy's network, though the exact context of LeBron's mention remains sealed and disputed. For now, this angle sits in that tense zone between public chatter and official filings, and every reshared clip, text, and guest rumor is getting stress-tested while the feds keep pulling on connected threads. LeBron's lawyers won't say a word, and the Lakers are passing on every request for clarity. And that silence is turning up the heat, not cooling it down. In the very same week, agents reportedly seized material from LeBron's homes. Prosecutors said Operation Nothing But Bet was expanding, now merging entertainment-side financial records tied to Diddy's business web, strictly alleged, not proven in court. Internal notes mentioning cross-reference ledgers sparked talk that some of the same middlemen might have touched payments linked to both Jones's betting activity and Diddy-related projects, though the full context remains sealed. That's when officials allegedly realized the money trails and the guest lists could overlap, and the back rooms went into scramble mode fast. Publicists are huddling, sponsors are rereading clauses line by line, and insiders claim at least 2 big brands have paused new campaigns with LeBron's image until the feds spell things out. Careful moves, not conclusions.
Them when they win, I criticize them when they're messing up in an effort to make sure that you don't do it again. I'm not wishing anybody to fail, but I have to call it how I see it because I have an audience to answer to. These players, I don't get paid to talk.
Inside NBA circles, the question reportedly shifted. Not just, did LeBron know about Jones's bets, but did he know about Diddy's parties and what really went on? Even a hint of association with that scandal is enough to make executives hit the panic button, which is why everyone's lawyering their words and watching every headline closely. At the same time, fresh whispers are bubbling from folks who once moved in Diddy's social scene, adding more smoke without proving fire. One former event promoter alleges LeBron's name showed up on internal guest coordination messages as far back as 2018, a claim that's unverified, context unknown, and not a charge, but loud enough to keep the rumor mill spinning hard while investigators keep digging. Those communications haven't been made public, but a separate source claims FBI analysts, while combing through seized phones from Diddy's security team, found contact logs that referenced high-profile athletes. None of it confirmed, but the internet is treating it like a smoking gun anyway. Now you've got amateur sleuths turning old posts and lives into evidence boards, and the intrigue keeps stacking up fast. Several messages reportedly pulled from devices taken in the raid at LeBron's mansion are being reviewed for ties to private events in Los Angeles and Miami. And people familiar with the material say there's encrypted convo with names later linked to Diddy's management team, which is why the whispers won't die down. Whether those chats were friendly check-in, sponsorship talks, or something more sensitive isn't clear, but in the operation, nothing but bet climate, even a question mark sounds guilty to some folks, which is why cautious voices keep reminding everyone this is still unverified. Insiders warn that context is everything. A calendar ping can look like code when you're already suspicious, and that's the trap people fall into when the receipts are sealed and the timeline is choppy. Until filings spell it out, all anyone truly has are fragments, and fragments can mislead if you force them to fit a headline. People who know LeBron describe him as ride or die loyal, the type who never forgot the ones who helped during the Akron grind. And that loyalty built a tight crew that followed him from Cleveland to Miami to Los Angeles, carrying old favors, shared investments, and deep trust like a passport. That's why his circle moves as one. Same rooms, same travel, same rhythms, all in the name of keeping the day ones close. Investigators now suggest that same loyalty might be the weak spot because a wide door for friends can also be a side door for problems, even by accident. Folks around the Lakers locker room recall moments where keeping familiar faces nearby clashed with team protocol. Friends with no formal roles hanging at practices or hopping flights. Casual access that can quietly blur the line between personal and professional when the stakes are this high. Sources tied to former Lakers staff say those blurred lines turned into a full-on pattern. If LeBron wanted someone past the rope, they got past the rope. No questions asked. That was part of the brand. The self-made superstar who kept his day ones close and never forgot where he came from. Now Operation. Nothing But Bet is digging into that exact vibe, and analysts are breaking down whether unwavering trust in old friends like Damon Jones, plus entertainment contacts from past seasons, quietly open side doors for sensitive info to slip outside team walls, even if that wasn't the intent. Former teammates say polite warnings popped up over the years about a few faces in the mix, with coaches and security nudging LeBron to create distance from people whose money moves drew attention. Those reminders landed soft, but rarely stuck, according to insiders. Loyalty wasn't a preference for him, it was policy, which plays great in a huddle, but can get tricky when business and friendship start overlapping in real time. That code of loyalty helped build an empire, partners, projects, philanthropy, but it can also attract opportunists who see generosity as an entry pass, especially when the spotlight is blinding bright. To be clear, none of this proves misconduct on LeBron's part, but it paints a picture of how access can travel when the circle is tight and the schedule never slows down. From a psych angle, fame at LeBron's level can shrink the gap between friendship and dependency. The same people who shield you can also expose you if boundaries drift or roles get fuzzy. In that world, your guard and your gamble can be the same person, and that's exactly why investigators are zooming in on access, messages, and movement while the rest of us wait for verified receipts. Analysts who study celebrity life say that under heavy pressure, stars build tight circles where outside criticism gets filtered and pushback gets softened. And that's when trust turns into currency until a crack finally shows. The FBI's deep dive into communication logs between LeBron and longtime associates hints that this inner web might be more fragile than it looks, especially under the heat of a federal probe. People close to the investigation believe loyalty could be the thread tying everything together. The betting chatter, the entertainment accounts, even the social links that brushed him up against Diddy's world. In their view, this isn't about greed or some cartoon-style corruption. It's about a guy whose duty to his circle made hard boundaries feel disloyal, and that's a risky mindset when money and access are moving fast. That human flaw, loyalty amplified by fame, might explain why agents are sifting through personal files from one of the most disciplined athletes on the planet right now. In the LeBron story, loyalty isn't just a nice trait. It's the code that opened the gates to his private kingdom, and maybe, just maybe, to a serious blind spot that others could exploit. So the narrative shifts from box scores to back channels, from sports to secrecy, and the stakes feel different overnight. For years, LeBron stood as the model of control, the star who didn't slip, didn't stumble, didn't stray from the plan, and now that carefully built image is getting stress tested in real time. Analysts even point to him pulling back from several high-profile charity appearances as a sign of tighter internal damage control. Not proof of guilt, but a classic move when the playbook is lock it down and ride the wave until the facts are clear. In this moment, his greatest strength, ride or die loyalty, might be the very thing he has to manage with surgical precision. A Los Angeles PR exec told us that when a spotless brand goes silent, it's usually because the lawyers just grabbed the mic, and LeBron's camp is saying nothing right now. Meanwhile, theories are multiplying online, with some folks speculating that Operation Nothing But Bet and Diddy's prosecution could intersect through hidden money webs. Shell foundations, promo companies, even Lux events billed as fundraisers, though none of that is confirmed by investigators yet. Officials haven't verified those overlaps, but each unsealed filing drops fresh crumbs for the internet to dissect like its CSI timeline. Flight logs, throwback photos, and city-by-city sightings getting lined up side by side like puzzle pieces, all still unproven. Even matching travel dates has turned into digital currency in this trial by rumor, which is why caution matters before anyone calls it fact. Through all of this, LeBron has stayed completely quiet. No presser, no post, no denial. And that restraint, once read as thoughtful, now looks like a tight legal strategy to some watchers, not a confession. You can feel the pressure building in the silence, the kind that makes every small move look like a big tell. So the big questions keep echoing. What did he actually know about the parties, if anything? Did the same money handlers who allegedly touched Jones's wagers also touch event budgets in the entertainment lane? Or is that just internet connect the dots with no verified receipts yet? Is this pure guilt by association or something deeper about how power, money, and loyalty link sports to showbiz behind the velvet rope? For years, LeBron built an empire on image and control. Endorsements, social impact, film deals, family branding, and now that machine is getting stress tested by subpoenas and whispers from Diddy's fallen circle, even as LeBron himself hasn't been charged with a crime. This could be loyalty gone sideways or the first peek at a bigger story, and until documents speak clearly, it's still allegation territory, not a verdict. We might be close to answers, or we might just be watching rumor outrun reality. But if the truth drops, it could rewrite how we talk about modern fame, access, and the circles that move with a superstar. What do you think really sits behind the silence? Tight legal playbook, or connections that need explaining fast? Drop your take below, and don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to Gossip Confidential for the latest updates the second they land.